Hey everybody, it's Susie Lolly back for another episode of Tech Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And I just want to remind you that this is coming from SusieLolly.com. I have a crazy spelling of my last name, so you can look for it right here on this page, or SUZYLOLLEY.com. And if you go up to the cover art right here on this Facebook page, you can scan the QR code and you can follow my email list. Just by doing that, I will send you my top 10 puzzles for Breakout EDU. I also want to remind you that if you're a Pinterest lover, if you'll go on over to Pinterest, I have all kinds of really specific boards for different teaching ideas and different technology tips. So without further ado, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I just want to let you know that this is our 7th Tech Tuesday, plus the 12 days together that we were together for Techmas. So if you're counting, that's almost 20 times we've been together. Thank you to those of you who have watched every single video. And tonight we're going to get down to business, and I'm going to share with you 10 what I'm calling straighten up strategies for your computer files. Last week we talked about email hoarders, and so if you were one of those, then you're probably tuned in tonight. You're like, Susie, I need all the organizational help I can get. Here's a funny thing. I don't enjoy cleaning at all, but I do enjoy labeling and organizing. And so I need to obviously clean up some stuff over here. As you can see, I've got some things I need to move. But I just want to give you 10 strategies that'll help you have a better and more organized life. So let's go ahead and start with that. First of all, and I'm going to give a shout out to Frida Williams, who teaches in our department, and she gave me this idea, which I never knew existed, and it is that you can open something in a new window. So my first two strategies are going to go together, and the first two strategies are open in a new window and split your screen. So you can't see what I'm doing right here, but I will go ahead and write it on a sticky note for you. So let me just do one new sticky note. If you will hold down your Control key and excuse me, not your Control key. If you hold down your Windows key and then touch an arrow. So right, left are the two that I usually start with, then you're going to split your screen. So watch what happens when I do this. I'm going to turn off my sticky note. I'm going to do Windows to the right, and whatever I had open is going to go over here to the right, and then I can choose another open program to go over here to the left. Now, if I did this one right here, the Facebook Live, then you'd see picture in picture in picture. It'd be really tacky. So instead, I want to show you this other trick you can combine with this. I'm to full screen, okay? I'm going to right click. Let's just say that I want to move documents from, say, my desktop. Oh, my friends who are desktop savers. If I want to copy things from my desktop into a cloud service or into documents or whatever it is, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say open a new window. Just like if you were online, you could open something in a new tab, okay? And now I'm going to do my split screen, and you're going to see a really good example here of what the benefit of this is. So I'm going to do to the left this time, and then over here to the right. Let me try one more time. I've got this other document. So, okay, there we go. So now I have my cloud service over here to the right, and I have my desktop over here to the left. So tips 1 and 2 are when you're trying to organize your files, you need to see what it is you're organizing. So open in a new window. Again, you just right click on whatever it is you want to open. Here's the option. And then also use a split screen, which is your Windows plus one of your sideways arrow keys, your left or right arrow keys. Windows 10 actually does support four windows at the same time. I have never had a reason to use that, but you could do that if you wanted to, if you needed to copy things in 3 different places. Okay, so tip number 3 is going to be to use one location and to make that location cloud-based. So let's talk about the cloud. The cloud confuses a lot of people. If you are an iPhone user, you have a cloud. It's called iCloud. If you are a Google user, you have Google Drive. You could be using Dropbox or just Box. There are lots of different cloud services. And basically what they mean is that we are paying someone else to store our files for us. Now that comes with a risk, of course. I've heard of a few very isolated cases out of the teachers I train. I've heard of one actually where her OneDrive was held for ransom and she had to pay money to get her files unlocked. I never heard what happened with that. But I've heard it one time, and certainly there is a risk in having anybody do anything for you. That's why some of us who are type A micromanagers insist on doing everything ourselves, because we're going to do it better than anybody else. But here's the deal. If your computer dies, or when your computer dies, or you need to have your computer re-imaged for some reason, guess what? If you don't have your files back connected to a cloud, then it's going to be much harder to get the files onto your new computer, and you might even lose them if you weren't expecting for that computer to go down. So I'm going to ask you to combine your files in one location and make that location cloud-based. If your school district, such as ours, pays for you to have like Office 365 or Google Drive, take advantage of that storage. I know for us, we have a terabyte of storage. Unless you recorded yourself live every day, you're not going to fill that up. So it's a giant flash drive. You can't break it. You can't lose it. You can't fill it up. So my third tip for file storage is to pick one location. Don't have all this stuff on the desktop. Now you're going to notice I have some stuff on the desktop. That's because I got a new computer and I had some things in different places that I need to still go through. So I have some temporary files on my desktop. If you go to my documents, I might have a couple things there, okay? But for the most part, I am a OneDrive saver. That's my cloud service of choice. So you need to pick one location, because otherwise you're trying to remember, where did you put the most recent version? What did you do with it? If you need to share it with somebody, you can't find it anywhere. It's just a pain in the neck. So I pick one location and I am a cloud saver. I only use my desktop, like I said, in this particular instance because I have some temporary files there. Okay, tip number 4, let's talk about a true backup versus a working copy. So in true Susie fashion, I'm going to tell you a story. When I went to India in 2012, the safe thing to do is, or that I was told to do, is to make a copy of my passport. And so I carried with me not only my real passport, but a paper copy of my passport as well. And when I went through the very intimidating Delhi airport, I did not hand them a piece of paper. I handed them my real passport. My passport is my working copy, but I had a piece of paper copy of my passport just in case someone had kidnapped me or whatever, my passport got stolen or lost. I had this backup. It was not intended to be touched. It was left in my suitcase, and I never showed it to anybody. So let's relate that to your file structure. OneDrive or Google Drive or any cloud service is not truly a backup because you are accessing those files on a regular basis. If you truly want something to be a backup, get yourself a flash drive or an external hard drive or a CD if you're old-fashioned like that. Or I guess you could get a floppy disk, and store the important files that would cause you panic if you lost them. Put those on that external drive of whatever form, lock it in a drawer, and don't touch it. Will you have the most recent copy of your files on there? No. If I need to restore files from there a year from now, I won't have my most recent copies, but I will not have lost everything. Okay? You could even print out paper, which we shudder to think, but if that would make you feel more secure. But give yourself a true backup in addition to your working copy. I'm living life on the edge, so for most of my stuff, this is my copy, and I'll just hope for the best. But I would highly recommend, and our district certainly has us trained, that you need to have a true backup, not just a working copy. So those are your first 4 tips. Open in a new window, split the screen, pick a location and make it cloud-based. Also, have a true backup, not just a working copy. Tip number 4, renaming. When you want to rename documents, and I'm going to go back into split screen in a few minutes, but when you want to rename documents, you want to give caution and care to how you do that. So the process for renaming, not to talk down to you, but the process for renaming is just to right-click, come down to the word rename, okay, and you're going to have that highlighted. But you want to give some care to how you rename. I have a lot of math teachers who will do something like this. This is worksheet number 4, okay? When you do that, you're going to notice I don't have a green check here, but in just a minute, I probably even will get a red. Oh, it actually worked that time. Maybe they've updated something on our cloud. Or if you add a % sign, I'm going to try to do something that breaks it, y'all. It worked every other day except when I'm teaching you. Okay, so I'm going to right-click. I'm going to say rename. And let me add a % sign. Sometimes when you download files, like from Teachers Pay Teachers or something, they're going to give you this weird %20 every time there's a space in the title. And that will also cause many cloud services not to connect the files. So y'all, this is so awesome because apparently those symbols have been resolved in Office 365. So that's really cool. I'm not getting an error when I have weird files. But if you want to rename, in general, stay away from any weird symbols or characters, and also stay away from having your title be 10 feet long. For example, this, I probably need to go back and change. Sometimes it's hard for a cloud service, especially if you're using folders within folders within folders within folders. It reaches a limit like, say, 400 characters where it just cannot read anymore, and you're going to have trouble having those documents sync to whatever cloud service you choose. So you want to make sure when you're renaming that you avoid weird characters. What else? Tip number 6. Let me teach you how the 2 tricks for multi-selecting. So if you need to, let's say, move this and this and this and that, you need to maybe copy those or cut those and paste them somewhere, whatever it is, and you want to select out of order. These are not, contiguous. If you want to do non-contiguous selection, what you're going to hold down, and I'm going to put this on that sticky note again, is you're going to hold down, this is why I had control in mind earlier. If you hold down the control key while you're clicking, so don't let go, and I'm holding control even though you can't see it, and I'm clicking, then I can select non-contiguous files. And then I will be able to do the same topic, the same action to them. So copy those, cut those, paste those, whatever it is I need to do. What if you want to select several items in a list? So what if I know I'm going to be copying this all the way down to here, and I want to put those documents somewhere. I want to copy and paste them. The trick for that is the Shift key. You click the first one without holding anything. Then I'm putting my finger on Shift. I'm not letting go. And I'm clicking the last thing in a contiguous list that I want to select. So I'm going to type that again on my sticky note so you can see it. So if you hold Shift and you click, then you're going to be able to select contiguous items in a list. So if I want all these things, and I could keep going with that. If I hold here, hold Shift, click all the way there, it's going to select everything in between. So if I did not want to do that, again, it's Control. And Control will let me, I Shift clicked all of that, but now I'm Control clicking to go back and unhighlight a few things that I want to do. So if I need to copy and paste a bunch of stuff at the same time, then those are my two tricks, multi-selecting with Shift and Control. Okay, what are we on? Tip number 7. I kind of went out of order on these. So tip number 7 is pasting into the white space. So I want to show you that. I'm going to go again, split screen. Let's see. I'm going to go split screen. So I'm going to Windows and Right. And then over here, I'm going to put this document over on the left. So let's say that I had this folder, for example. This is some pictures I got off my phone. And I want to take these pictures and I want to copy them over into my OneDrive. And y'all, I'm just going to click off my OneDrive for a minute to deselect. There we go. So I want to take this and I want to copy it over into that OneDrive. Well, here's the deal. If I am not careful and I copy, so I can right click and copy, or I can Control C. If I'm not careful where I paste, I might accidentally paste this into another folder. So what you have to make sure you do, whether you are dragging over or whether you are copying over, is, do you see over here I have this white label that tells me exactly where I'm moving something. I don't want these pictures to go into a subfolder. I just want them to go on my regular OneDrive. I can just copy into some kind of this white space over here. Just being very careful that I know where I'm copying. So just now I showed you with dragging, but if I want to do that same process by right-clicking, find any white space on the edge of these files, and then you're going to be able to just paste right there, okay? But don't paste into a subfolder, and then you're like, oh my gosh, where did my stuff go? Again, if you're dragging and dropping, wherever you hover, it'll tell you where it's going. So try to hover at the top corner if you don't want to go into a subfolder. I'm going to move those back over because I really don't want those to go anywhere, okay? Look for your white space. Tip number 8. If you want a file to be sorted to the beginning of the list, all these tips you might be like, Susie, I've done that for years, but hopefully, like opening a new window, I never knew. Split screen was new to me. So if you did not know some of these, I hope that they're helping you. But let's just say there's a folder you use all the time and you want it to go to the list. For example, here's my folder for Tech and Truth Tuesdays. I'm going to right click that. I'm going to rename it. And if you will add an underscore to the beginning, so that's hold down Shift and it's up near your 0, you're going to see an underscore. When I click to rename that, you will see in just a minute that it'll be resorted to the top of my folder list. Give it a minute, give it a minute. All this blue means that it is, the little blue symbol there means it's taking a minute. But if you want something to resort to the top of your list, just add an underscore and it will go to the top of the list. In the same way, if you want folders to be organized together, tip number 9 is to make sure that you're very consistent with how you name things. So for example, I have 12th grade Brit Lit, and then if I wanted another folder that was going to be in order, like I taught 8th, 9th, 11th, and 12th grade. Yes, I've been everywhere. So when I make a new folder, which I can do inside my OneDrive, when I make a new folder, then I want to be consistent with how I name that. So the other one said 12th grade. If I just name this 8 and I hit enter, then it's going to sort differently. And y'all, it's just everything I'm trying to put on here right now that you are not seeing anything happen to it. Okay, finally, Tech and Truth Tuesdays moved over. It's because we're looking at the desktop version. The online version you would see move a lot faster. So any day now, any moment now, we're going to see this folder called 8 move over here. Let me refresh. There's my refresh. Couldn't find him for a minute. Okay. So 8 just goes to the beginning here. I really want to try to be consistent. I'm going to put rename. And I want to try to name folders that you want to group together. Name them something similar. So 8 lesson plans. And then 12th lesson plans. And then 9th lesson plans. If you'll give kind of that same file structure, the same name, they will group together very nicely. Okay, are you ready for number 10? And then I have a bonus for you. You're going to laugh at bonus tip number 11. Number 10 is I have a post related to this topic that'll teach you how to organize your cloud well. So I'm going to go online, just pardon the ugliness for a minute. Okay, and I'm going to go to my Susie Lolly site. And when you go to, I'm actually going to go to it this way so you see the outside version of it, not my back end version. If you go to my blog and under categories, actually under search, if you'll search for pretty, see if we can find it that way. I'm going to give you a keyword here. And I will also paste this in the link on the Facebook video. But it's called Pretty Up Your Online Life. During our Techmas, and then I revisited this with an article post, which was just posted on February 1st. You're going to see an article called Pretty Up Your Online Life. And it'll teach you things that to organize your Drive, your Google Drive, your Office 365, your online folders, get them organized, but also make them attractive. So what I'm going to do is I will take this link and I will post it over here on our Facebook video. I want to give a shout out to all the people who are watching. Hey, Will and Scott and Dusty and John Curtis and Anna. Hey, everybody. And if you are looking for strategies for your online life as well, if you'll just visit the post, you'll get that. Okay, here's your bonus tip. Are you ready for it? Okay, if you have been, let me get back to another view. If you have been a hoarder, it's time to delete. Okay, for example, I have this thing called Second Grade Pretend. I really don't think I need to click that. If you highlight it and you click delete on your keyboard, watch the magic. It's now gone. Okay, if you have something that you know you're not going to use again, basketball rankings. I was trying to help a coach. We could not figure out what he needed. I click delete. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so don't be afraid to either use shift or use control and click a bunch of things and clean them up, get them out of there. Just because you have all the storage doesn't mean you have to use it. I've heard that saying about just because an outfit comes in your size doesn't mean you should wear it. Just because a cloud service comes in your size doesn't mean you need to fill it up. I hope these 10 tips have helped you. What I would love for you to do is visit my website tomorrow night on Wednesday every week. After our Tech Tuesday, I post a related blog post with more resources in it. I'd love for you to visit that. I'd love for you to share that. If this post was helpful for you, I would love for you to write your favorite tip in the comments and also share this as well. Hope you guys have a great evening. Come back next Tuesday, 8 p.m.